So I'm going to go live a little bit early. Now, just getting ready. Can someone give me a thumbs up on the audio? Is it good, too loud, too low? Bueller, anyone? Thank you, Kamal. Hi there, Pamela. Everyone. Early birds, 9, 10 people. That's cool. Maybe we'll make it a cozy affair. It's dark o'clock out here. We'll start in about 3 minutes. Get your tickers ready. I'm going to run through the indices and a few of the tickers that I'm looking at. So if you're looking to trade something, if you have a trade under pressure, if you want to discuss charts, opportunities, let me know. Think about it. All right. Who's trading actively these days and who's just swing trading like me? Anyone daring enough to pop in and out? Yesterday we kind of killed it, huh? Okay, Carl, we will look at CSIQ. When you say you're in it, did you buy it after the fall or were you in it before then? Make sure to add it to our list. All right, we'll check it out. Mention it a little bit later and we'll check it out. All right, one more minute and we'll get started. Trying to get the people from the live room in here. Arkansas. What? Okay, we're going to get started. Morning, folks. It is 5:30 Pacific, so 8:30. We have about an hour. We're going to run through charts for about 50 minutes and then recap again with what I'm starting with, which are the indices. So if you read my morning note, members, you should go read my morning notes. If you read my morning notes, we are fighting for control. The bears have controlled the markets, the sellers, I should say, for about a month. Hey, Shawnee. London. So they've controlled it in the sense where we've had a few weeks of red. We had 1 week of green last week. So onus is on the bulls to take the reins back. Yesterday was a good day because there were a few slides throughout the day that they shrugged off. So from that, hello, Philippine. So from that perspective, it was a good outcome. Not because the score was green, because they shrugged off a couple of scary moments. And if you were in the live room with us, we killed it. We did very well, especially with Teslas. There are a couple of people that were trading Tesla actively. Also, the S&P gave us a few runs. One in the morning and immediately thereafter. One was bullish, one was bearish, and then we traded the range. We did an iron condor that worked out. We did an iron butterfly that worked out really well. For those of you who were daring to do them. Throughout the day, we had a bunch of tickers discussed. I have a list that I've been watching, and I've been taking longs on dips, and somebody mentioned CSIQ. We will do that. I want you to put in your tickers. So today's session is for you. Because Sunday we did not have the time to do the Sunday session. I will do one this weekend for sure, this coming weekend. So give me your tickers so we can hit them one after another. So I'm going to do the S&P first, which is right in front of us. Whatever we cleared in the last couple of days, we need to test as support. So today it would be disappointing if we fell below 44.20 on the S&P futures, which is what you're looking at. We'll switch to the SPY in a bit. And making headway, meaning higher high, is okay, but not necessary. So a flat day would be fine. A slightly red day would be fine. A slightly green day would be fine. You don't want huge swings, okay? All right, I got PayPal and Unity on the list. I'm interested in both because I'm in both. All right, so the S&P, basically, we could withstand a little dip, and we don't need too much of upside, but that would be nice. All right. Also, let me know if the volume is too low. We'll see if we can do about that. What we can do about that. I have a new mic. All right. Here's the NASDAQ. We have progress, higher lows, and eventually we want to take out yesterday's high for progress without making regress. So I don't want to see them drop below 14,970. So basically, if you wanted to range the price action, that's important. You want this box to break the upside, then the downside. I got that on the list. Okay, so let me see here. This is the S&P futures and the NASDAQ futures. The one thing that I'm looking at, which are the small caps, and that's the important one. So yeah, last week the small caps did not have a green week, and they're pretty important because they look like they could base first high, and they've gone down however they've gone down, and now they've been going sideways. Now, if they take out the upper limit of that sideways before they lose the support, then that's the first sign of stabilization. You drop, you consolidate, and you start making higher lows. So that hasn't happened yet, but I'm looking for it. In other words, they dropped and then they consolidated, and maybe they are trying to get into an ascending channel of sorts. That peak low may be good news, because even though it popped below the prior low, because they made a higher high as well. Barely, but they did. So they are fighting for it. So I'm watching the small caps. You can watch it through the RTY, which is the futures contract. You can watch it through the IWM or the RUT. They will probably look the same. The RUT will look a little different because it has no overnights. All right, it's probably simpler to look at it from the RUT perspective. And you can see how they're drawing a head and shoulders. So of course you don't want to lose the floor, because then you end up down here. So if we do lose the floor, we will end up having another 5 to 6 to 7% dip. So from where we are, it'll be about 8%. If, right? So you want to see if there is an ascending channel starting. All right, so that's these guys. Now, what about stocks? We have dozens that popped up from earnings. Some we've taken, some we're waiting. Etsy has come up. So I'm going to start with that because this is from members. And if you're not a member yet, reach out. Message me through the note here. Email me, nick@simplestocks.net. And we can get you on board. So Etsy, on a daily basis, let me use this window here. This way I can just jump through. It looks like a falling wedge, right? But it's also falling into a pretty hard bounce level. The problem is that the bounce level is pretty old, so not sure it's going to hold up as a line. It's more of a zone. So it is a starting point, but not all in, just in case. So in other words, I'll add Tesla. I can go long, but I should leave room for error, either by selling a put instead of buying a call, or by buying shares. If you're buying shares, or buying partial position, not everything, not all in. So that's Etsy. UPS was also looking good. Same concept. It did bounce a little, so I will hold up a little bit on UPS to see if they're serious about holding the 167.50. But it too was also viable trade, and Roblox as well. Okay. These are tickers that I promised members I would do. Roblox, I would hold shares or calls. If I sold a put or a put spread, I would just trim it. We could have a crossover in the moving averages, which is pretty good. We do have a wolf wave that says maybe 28 is doable, 27.9, 27.8. So it's looking pretty good as far as people who dared. Now, somebody just asked for CSIQ. This is the drop that made Enphase worse. So Enphase is trying to stabilize, and I have a few people in it. I'm in it. And every time it stabilizes, somebody reports that has to do with solar, it gets whacked. So CSIQ, I'm not sure why it fell. You need to study the fundamentals. Technically, it's falling into a pivot zone. In the past, 2 times at least, we'll look further left, 3 times, this has been pivotal. Look, back in 2019, it was a wall breakout. They came back and tested it in 22 twice, and here we are again. So it's not a hard line in the sand, but anything below 25 has been a base. So if you believe in the company and you know their fundamentals and you know the issues of the industry, then this might be a starting point. This green M says, yes, it has a rally back, but target 1 is something like 34, 35. So be realistic with that, with the expectations. I wouldn't buy calls. If I did, there'd be leaps, and I would sell calls against them. Selling puts or put spreads might work better. It depends on your risk appetite. So it does look good, but you need to be very selective. PayPal finally, I think, found a floor for now. I am long via sold puts and green, I believe. It has been difficult to trade this guy. I keep going back to it because it keeps delivering. Like in the end, I end up winning, but it's always a struggle. So if you take out 62.5, 63, you could end up with another $4 on your hands. All right. And buying calls is difficult. Buying shares is better. If you buy calls, I would suggest looking into selling some covered calls against them. When you own shares, you can sell covered calls, but a lot of people don't realize you can do the same by owning calls. You can, if you buy calls out in time, you can sell calls against them shorter time, either just above or just below the price you have the calls at. The alternative way of going long a stock and leaving room for error is selling puts or put spreads. Not everybody should do it, but everybody should look into it. Poor man's cover call, or it's called the diagonal. Why would you want to call it that long ass name? It's called a diagonal or a calendar. Poor man covered call. That is a pandemic term. Ditch it. If you want to sound like a pro, you would call it a calendar or a diagonal. Okay. Let's see here. The idea is to not go all in. Let's say you take a position and then the price goes against you. If you go all in, you leave no room to maneuver the risk, right? So now you're stuck with a full position. The only thing you have to do is add. And adding is a horrible idea. You would then have to make your problem bigger. It just doesn't make sense. All right, Unity. Unity is another one that's interesting. I did go long Unity. I can't remember how, but I am long Unity. I think I sold a put. It looks like it wants to stabilize. The P&L is okay. And for me, it is a trade, not an investment. It does have the opportunity to run for about $4, maybe $5. And this is a trade. So if it loses 33, I would consider getting out because I think it will go below 30. That would be a better base. So if I'm actually trading, not investing in it, and it goes against me, then I can just ditch it and restart lower because we're traders, right? We don't care if we lose on one. We want to make progress with the account. It's okay to lose on trades. All right. That's Unity. Do your homework, though, about the company itself. Make sure it is legit. I don't know this company very well. The chart says if you buy a call or if you buy a put, you're guessing. We have a range from 16.7 to whatever that is, 12.4. And it's somewhere struggling in the middle, maybe making a little bit of headway. So 14.1, look for that to be support. If you lose it, that's a setback. You do have backup support at 1350, and you do have a wall at 1650. So what you want, if you're a bull, you want them to chip away and break out from 1650. All right. Tesla. Tesla, we crushed it yesterday. Absolutely crushed it. It was tricky to trade, but let's see if it finishes the job today. So are you short-term or long-term? What's your view on Tesla? I'll give you both. Tesla fundamentally is making money off of EVs, and it's the only one that is. So above 244, 245, you can get another $15 out of it. So if you're long for that purpose, fine, because you're making higher lows, trying to knock out a 245 limit. If you take it out, you're going to overshoot by about $15. That's a good opportunity. So to pursue that, you can buy call spreads, and the spreads can be vertical, or they can be calendar or diagonals. They can be credit put spreads or sold puts if you have enough, and or a combination. Of course, owning shares is a viable option as well. It requires a lot of margin, a lot of money to buy shares in Tesla. So it is looking bullish on the 2 hour. If I drill down, that should be 1 hour. You can see that you have 228 versus 244 again. If you want more information, this wolf wave is not looking good, but you should be able to try to hold 228 so you can take out 244. So today is pretty important. Let me see if the lines we did yesterday work. I forgot what this box was. Maybe I was looking into a range looking back. Anyway, you do have support. You do have a wolf wave that's threatening you testing that support. So you have to be very nimble when you trade Tesla. That's why I like selling a put spread to finance something. That gives you some leeway. It looks like today we are retesting the lows from yesterday. All right, so hopefully, I was hoping that it would finish this job that started yesterday. It's still possible. So look out for 239, 240 today to see if it can finish the job from last night. It's not necessary, but it could. All right, give me more tickers before I head into mine. Let's see, CROX. I've never traded it, or I should say I haven't traded it recently. It was looking good for a bounce. It looks like it gave us a little bounce. It still could have a lot more in it. So if you're long CROX, stay in it, because if you break 100, it might take off to like 108. That's a big if, right? You have to first survive 94. So it's 94 versus 100 right now in CROX. I still like it. I just dragged my feet. Get it? Feet, CROX. Come on, that deserves at least 5 likes. All right, we've got somebody that comes with tickers. We have LAZR. You're still trading LAZR? All right, there we go. Let's go. SYM, what is it? $40. Okay, so don't lose 36 on this one, because if you lose 36 or 35.5, you're probably going to end up in the 20s, 27, 26 maybe even. All right, we have lower highs trying to hold the floor with a base below it. So be careful with that. That's the short-term comment. That's your box. Build the box between 42 and 36, 35.5. So if you do this, actually right here, this is the box. If you do that, these are your limits. You get long, trade the limits. The way you do it, if you come down to the lower third of this box, you start looking long. Upper third, you start looking short. So you're trading the range. Or you wait for one side to win over the battle. If they break out from the upper end, then you will have some upside potential from there, maybe $2. If you lose the lower end, the reverse is correct. So ping pong inside until one side breaches. That's how I would trade this guy. LAZR, I'm not judging any of the fundamentals. We don't have time to delve into the fundamentals. If I don't know them, I'm going to say it's on you. All right, so LAZR, I need to zoom out. Nobody has asked me about it recently. Looks like it's in a base. It's trying to base. What is this? That little overshoot here. So you can assume that there are buyers into 5.2 versus the upside potential. So you make that assumption and you hold along and see how it develops. When a stock is this little, I don't mess around with calls. Just buy the stock. It's the price of a call of a big stock, and eliminate the time. This way, if it does have premiums, you buy shares and you sell covered calls against them. I don't know if it has enough premium to sell puts to own shares, but that would be a viable thing to do. But rarely do I see that possible on a $5 stock. So you have a descending wedge that's trying to bottom. So it could spring to 6 or 6.2 against the support it just placed. So be careful. CrowdStrike I like. We looked at it from the long side on this dip. It's falling into support, and it could go probably $8 to $13 from where it's at. It will need the help of the whole market. So everything I'm saying has to work within the confines of the market. So if the S&P ends up sliding another 3 to 5% lower, none of this is going to be able to play out from the bullish side, right? These stocks don't trade in a vacuum. So luckily, this one has support at 142 and backup support at 140. And if you lose that, it's going to take a little dip, probably about $8. I would start longs there as well. I would be comfortable enough to sell puts in this one. The P&L looks pretty okay. Increasing sales, they're not bleeding. I would be interested in it. Just study the company. This has been a pivotal zone. I think 136 should be pretty solid support if it fails. And it would be a trade/investment for me. I wouldn't mind investing in this guy. Okay, that's CrowdStrike. Now I have all of these that we've traded of late. So this one I've been scoping, DigitalOcean. I haven't gone into it personally, but it is basing around 26, give or take $1. So if you're an investor in it already, I wouldn't add. If you're looking to invest into it, I could nibble. I don't know the industry very well, so do your own homework on that one. There's a potential that it's pricing a little lower target than this because of what it lost around 36. So maybe 24, 25 is a better entry, but for that purpose, I can sell a put or a put spread to start that long early, especially on bad days. So it's on my staging. See, it's in my staging. PENN has been staging for a while. I waited too long. I wanted to buy the dip. We just got busy and I didn't, but I would have gone long. I do like PENN. It does have good fundamentals and it's in an exciting area. So on dips, I would get long PENN. Right here, I think it has a problem into 25. So if I haven't started a long, I'll be a little bit patient at the risk of missing out, because it's going into a place where it was a base, and now it's not going to be a base, it's going to be a problem. So this guy, I will put him here, because this was a base. So now it's going to be a problem. You can see it more clearly on a lower time frame. If you look left, you see you have 2 pointer controls around 2440 and 2480. It shouldn't be easy. SSYS, I don't remember ever trading it, and it's just interesting to see a company that has, a boring P&L, but it does have a P&L. And I was interested in these pokes lower. So is it basing here? And it's a $14 stock. Maybe you can get $1 or $2 out of it. But I'm patient. I don't know it enough. I'm just watching it, and it keeps making lower lows and lower highs. At some point, that changes. And the first step sign is like 14.4, maybe. Maybe that is a sign that it's turning around. All right. Where is everybody? Let's bring them in here. Go get friends. Disney, I may have missed a good entry point. I was away when this happened and I got the alert. I knew that it was going to be in the low 80s once it loses support, and it did. Right now, it's in the middle. I would re-engage with it long on a dip down towards 83 if it comes, and it could come. So let's see. Credit put spread is the way I would do it. Owning shares if somebody's investing in it. I'm not that excited about it though. I want to sell risk against what other people are afraid. So Disney, I would definitely do it that way. Let's see here. Making notes. I don't even know how to say this company, but it's been on my watch list because members ask about it, and I may have missed the perfect entry, but it's never too late. If you're an investor, if you're a trader, you might want to wait a little bit to see how the market is going to deal with it. This area was a battle zone. If you look left, 196, 194, it might come up. Hey, thank you. It might come up again as resistance. So I want to see what it does there. Any dip into 184 would be an opportunity to do something about it. I'm pretty sure I shared trade setups for people along the way in the last few weeks. I do like it. The P&L looks pretty good. I don't understand the business. X and GE are shortable, but short at your own risk. GE, I have had hits and misses, but overall I'm greenish in it. X, I tried once and it didn't work out. I think I still have the put for October. We'll see if it does work out actually. The buyout headline makes it very difficult to short because there's always a buyer thinking it's going to get bought out and bid. I think they missed out on selling the company. That's my feeling. It's like a Yahoo thing, probably. Maybe, maybe not. But I wouldn't invest too much into that. Just a regular old put. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Couple $100 and you're done. That is X. AXP popped up as a possible support zone and a target. So this was here beforehand. So to be truthful, this was like this, and it played out perfectly. So I'm going to leave it like that. And I think now that it could bounce, but it's going to have a problem at 162. So the only way I would trade this guy is if I sell a put spread down here. Also because the sister companies, which move kind of the same, Visa and MasterCard are breaking out. At least MasterCard is. Somebody yesterday, Bill, I think, wanted to short it. So, it is shortable, the MasterCard, but with a tight stop because it's breaking out. So if the other guys are breaking out, what if they correct? Will this one correct more? Anyway, it has less froth than Visa and MasterCard. So that's why it's attractive from a credit put spread perspective. Somebody's asking for AFRM. Don't they report soon? No. I thought they will. So I wouldn't do anything for it with it here. This is not an obvious entry point. Wow, what happened to AFRM? The earnings reaction was pretty good. I don't remember that. This is not an obvious entry point. Not for me. I would rather get long it when it comes back to 15 or 16. And if it doesn't anytime soon, I missed it. If I get long here, I'm going long into a prior failing zone. Anything above 18 before has been difficult in the last few months, so why would I want to do that? Versus everything inside this box has been support, so the closer to this box, the better a starting point, right? This area looks interesting too. So the next time comes down below 15.5, consider it. In fact, I will put the alert right now for AFRM. Okay. PayPal already did. Square is, wow, we're hitting all of those transactors. I like Square. I'm long Square. I'm short a put. I would own the share if I'm assigned. I think eventually it can come back to 62, 63. From what starting point? This is strong support if I look left. But then again, it's as strong as the market. So the market is teetering on a minus 3 to 5% maybe. They will decide this week on that, most likely. Square will follow. So I am long, but not all in. I can add to my position. I do like Square. It trades a little bit better, just a little bit better than PayPal, which is pretty painful. Nike went long on that last dip. I haven't looked at it. I'm pretty sure I'm green because it fell into support, and I said I'm going long. So I am long Nike, and it's working out well. I did share it with the gang. ZI. So Zoom Info, we've traded it several times for profits. This last time, it's not. It's down. I bought shares in the 18s. I can't remember, 1850. So I'm down on the shares. I did not buy a full position, but a partial position. This came recommended from Raghu, a friend. So I don't know much about it. I trusted his homework on it. So I'm in it in shares, and we'll see how they play out. I have greens in it from trading it before the shares. So overall, I'm still green on the stock, even though that particular trade is red. And because I bought shares, I'm not pressed for time. ROKU, I don't remember having a trade. Knew it was vulnerable, falling into support. They are buying dips inside an ascending channel, so this would be where it would find support anywhere into 74. Now, if it slides into 70, that's even better. I'm going to put an alert. If I'm not long, I would get engaged. So if I'm long, I'm not panicking out. If they go above 82, they can probably add another $5. That's a big if. Roku runs fast. Roku's easy trades are to buy dips when everybody hates it. Path, my trade played out for maximum gains. I would sell another put on bad days. Right now, it's stuck in a range. I will steal this and put it here. Just like the other box, if you come down to the 1/3 of the box, you get long. Come up to the upper third of the box, you range trade it. In, out, and then if they break out of this one, you chase it up, and if they lose this one, you get ready to hunker down. There is a big level of support down below just from here. So I will put an alert. Path. We have a light crowd today. See if we can get more people in here. Okay. Skip. NFASE. Yes, NFASE. The stock that cannot stop falling. So they reported earnings and the stock got shellacked. I think 15, 12%, something like that. SOFI? All right, we can do SOFI. NFASE has good fundamentals. They delivered a good report. And they slid. And I went long. They bounced. And then I think the next day or maybe within 2 days, somebody else reports SEDG or something like that, and SEDG falls 25%, takes NFASE back down to 5% or so. And then the market had its correction and it fell a little bit more. And then recently, just when it's starting to find its footing, CSIQ reports something that they didn't like, and whoop, they slide another one. I am long, believe it or not. My sold puts are still greenish, green. The credit put spread is slightly red, I think, but everything is still statistically viable. Now, at this rate, I probably will have to face some decisions soon if it doesn't stop sliding. And it is sliding in a sell the rally mode. And it does have support, but like I mentioned earlier, it's pretty old. So it's not likely to be surgical. So a zone of support makes people nervous. I will manage my risk based on the delta. If the delta is below 0.3, I would imagine I still have an opportunity to make money and I wouldn't panic. And if it gets into trouble, I just roll it out, down and out maybe. Hoping for the best, but not blindly. I'm watching the delta and so far so good. All right, somebody wants SOFI. So we ran through all the transactors, might as well do SOFI. We did well with SOFI. I have not re-engaged long. It is not low enough for me. The rally was too stupid, too big. Headlines, student loans, no student loans, I don't know. I think I have an opportunity to buy SOFI under 7 in the next few months, and I'm patient. As a trade, you can go long against the recent support of 7.5 and exit if it doesn't work as a trade. As an investment, I think I can still get in cheaper. I don't know if I mean, I like the business, but if it's in the lending business, I don't want to find out if we have a banking crisis or not. This is not the best of setups. Okay, so I'm very leery of owning SOFI shares. NU, we can do NU. We have another 25 minutes and then I'll start to wrap it up. Wow, pretty good rally. Pretty good test at 660. So now you have to monitor the lower highs versus the 660. If you lose 660, you're going to lose 6 or just about get to 6 because you're lower highs and then you lose support and you come down to here. I have an alert there. I don't remember from when, but I have it there. How do you eliminate that scenario? You get back to 740 or at least above 720. That's the trade setup on this one. MULN Automotive. What car is this? I don't know MULN. Is that an EV? Oof. All right. So why? What? $4,200 high? So is it a reverse merger or something? Ugh. Oh, okay. We don't have time to mess around with curiosity here. We will skip MULN. All right, do your homework on it. We will do that. GE Healthcare, that we know. So GE Healthcare is relatively new spin-off of GE. It's one segment of GE, so we don't have a lot of history on it. I mean, that's the P&L, so they say, but we don't have a lot of Wall Street history. So if you lose this recent support of 67, you're going to end up in the low 60s. So it's price discovery here. I wouldn't touch it for that reason. If you know the industry inside and out and you're solid about its valuation, then go long. I would suggest you sell a put at least to give yourself some buffer. So the way selling a put works, you say to somebody, I will buy your shares at 60. They will pay you a premium. That's called selling a put. But now you're on the hook. You promised them you will buy at 60 and you must be able and must be willing to buy it at 60 whenever time comes. That's probably the better way to do it. Gold, I assume you want Barrick Gold. Not gold, the metal. Barrick Gold is a good company. I think I would have gone, I did have an alert to go long in the 15s. In the 16.2 area, I don't want to touch it until they show me they can get back to 1650 or 1660. Okay. So selling a put to own shares in Barrick Gold would work. Earnings in about 70 days, so that could be the way I would use it. Pi. What is pi? 3.1416. Man, I'm full of them today. If you laughed, you're a mathlete. Okay. What is this? Never heard of this. Anyway, why is it so hated? If it has a decent PNL, what do? Development and sale of radio frequency ID, RFID, okay. Your chance at 55 as support, you lose it, you're going to end up losing another $8. Otherwise, if you take out the high from last week, you end up towards 70. So it's a good trading stock. And if you know the fundamentals, you can stay long against first news, good news, 64, I guess. You would get to 68. Higher lows testing this out. So that's your short term. Higher lows beating this. So the range is tightening. Hopefully it'll result in a breakout for you. What else? 26 likes. Come on, we can do better than that. This is like the weakest session we've had. Do you want to be known as the weakest session we've had? No. Get to work. All right. So what else do we have? Any more tickers? Yeah, you can only like it once. Somebody's wondering, where am I? Come over to the YouTube. Come to the dark side. Okay, let me run through a few other. Somebody yesterday talked to me about DXCOM. So I don't know much about it. And I was like, maybe it's falling into a support zone. Anybody knows anything about it? This is about halfway through. So I wanted to see what kind of premiums it has on options. I don't know much about it. Anybody? Let me know. Mongo. DXCM, MDB. I don't know where I discussed it yesterday. Who asked? Oh, I know. In the after session, I think, last night. Okay. Mongo is hitting a target 1 from Wolfwave, but I don't like anything with a gap like this. This is like NVIDIA. You can go through thousands of charts, and you will not see a chart building a base on top of 2 air pockets like these. Look at this gap here. What is it with this area? They don't want to trade it. Look how little volume there is below here. I wouldn't touch it until it comes down below 300, to be honest. But do your own homework. The PNL is not that great. I mean, but it's, the charts. I don't like the chart. It's not a good inspiration. Palantir, I am long. I sold a $12 put in Palantir. I haven't looked at it since then. So let's see. Go down a little bit lower time frames. All right. So we're good with Palantir. If you lose 1350, you will definitely get to 1250. So I said I'd be interested in it here, and that's why I sold a $12 put. What does that mean? I may own Palantir at $12 in the next however many days. I don't remember when it expires. I haven't looked at it since I sold the put. Insider buying. Okay. Then you have a leg up on me on that one. Ishmael. Let's see. What do you need? ATKR. And these stickers get more obscure by the minute. ATKR. What do they do? All right, so on the daily chart, I think you're going into a tough zone. 150, 151. You're going to see sellers stuck in here. So if you get up to here, you're going to have sellers. So your hope is to make higher lows, trying to tackle that. You're stuck in the middle. If you go long here, this is not an obvious entry point. This is the easiest way to say it. It could be a profitable one, but it's not an obvious entry point. On dips into 142 would be better. I'm not judging the company fundamentals. That's on you. The chart says that. Wire looks like it could make headway. Also not an obvious entry point, but a little bit better because you do have a line in the sand. So if they make a higher high today and tomorrow, maybe they clear enough to get to 168 and repeat the same battle. And if they clear that, you get to 173. So are they basing to break out? That's the question, right? So monitor the higher lows versus breaching one level at a time. Current level is 1, actually 165. You have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 point of controls there, 165. That's pretty important for wire. UI, what is that, path? I think I already did that. No, ubiquity. Okay, so I don't like to chase stocks that rip 20%. At least it's given back half. You could have buyers into 165. So if you missed it and you're looking to enter now, enter half position. You might end up having an opportunity to enter a little bit lower. 162 looks even better. You're welcome. Thank you for participating. Members, thank you for coming here and supporting us. It's great help. And if you're not a member, look into becoming one. Reach out. And the comment section, by the way, is open to anybody. If you heard something you didn't like, or you have ideas on any of the tickers we mentioned, engage in the comment section. It'll be fun back and forth. And it's public. Anybody can do that. I did not restrict it. Okay, as long as you keep it civil, okay? Clean. Snow, I think, was a stock that people were interested in. I like it down here. It's got a good base. So as long as the market holds up, it does have a lot of resistance. But if somebody's selling puts to own shares or wants to buy into it for the long term, it's an okay starting point. Hello, Luis. How are you? I wouldn't buy calls. I wouldn't buy shares. I would sell puts to create income, or put spreads actually better. Selling a put spread for Snow for me. And avoid the next earnings report, which is in 90 days. So here's the thing. If you have a lot of trades that expire in the next 5 weeks, throw a couple way out in time if you can. Like this one doesn't report for 90 days. Get a 60-day, 70-day trade into it, if possible. IWM, we already talked about it. The Dow. So the Dow has an opportunity to break out from 347 to 350 or 51. So that's another ticker that I would look into. The problem with the Dow is that 1 or 2 stocks can move it if they have big ticket. I think UNH is like a huge, the higher the dollar amount of the stock, like Apple does not count more than UNH, in fact. So the biggest, like Goldman Sachs has a big dollar amount in its ticker, JP Morgan, those would affect the Dow more than a high market cap company. Like Tesla is the biggest, Apple is the biggest market cap. It's nowhere near being the biggest in the Dow. So that's why it's hard to gauge what's going to happen there. Target, we can skip it for now. I would own Target as an investment. I would sell a put spread in Target as an investment. Don't trade what you see on Instagram. The sales drop is BS. It's not happening. The games. Thank you for the reminder. Don't hit the like button twice, though. That would unlike it. Is there a hate button? Is there? Look at all these hearts. Aw. Okay. Netflix. Nobody asked about Netflix. I'm going to volunteer it. So let's see here. I did have a trade that expired or expires this week on Netflix. It was an iron condor and it worked out. I would sell a put spread. I don't know if I have enough information to buy calls. Yeah, if you twist my arm, I would buy a call spread of sorts, maybe a diagonal, and maybe finance it with some sold puts or put spreads. You have 50 days, 49 days before the next earnings. See if you can make that work. The way I would do it, I would sell a spread that expires before that and buy calls for, or call spreads for after that. In fact, I would do an iron condor that expire before the earnings within 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then buy something for the earnings. Like if you guess up on the earnings, you buy a call spread. If you guess down, you buy a put spread. This way, your bet would be almost free because you're ranging it for the meantime, and then you would be long or short Netflix into the earnings. This was a wolf wave target. Now it's back to the top. I think it's difficult to break out of 438. I think it's difficult to lose support. So range bound. My credit put spread was 380 versus, gosh, 455. I can't remember. So it played out. I'm happy with that. I have a similar trade on Amazon that expires this week, and I think I'll close it today for near maximum gains. Okay, ISRG, did it bounce? It did bounce. That was a good entry point last week if somebody jumped into it. These green lines are long-term VWAPs, but they're anchored. So I put them on extensions that I think are important. So there are buyers inside of this. From that perspective, there are buyers inside of this. From this perspective, this has been a pivotal zone, and look how surgical they are. They failed at 285. They broke out from 285, and this was a test of 285. Now, 312 is a problem. So expect a fade on 312, and maybe they hold 296, 295 on the way down. So if I'm not long, I would wait for the dip to test 296, 295, and I would get long ISRG. I do like the company. I like that they split. It's still not liquid enough, though, so be careful. Airbnb, Unity we did. Airbnb? Anything exciting? Okay. So Airbnb, as an investor, maybe you can get into it. But as a trader, you should be aware that losing 123 can open a trap door lower. I don't think it happens all by itself. But if you lose this base, you will end up in the 116 area. I do have an alert under 120. I'm patient. I'll sit in it. Headline stock, I don't know. I don't have enough information as to why it's stalled there, so I'll sit it out until I see something. I think 130, 132 is a lot of chop there, a lot of sellers hiding, so where's the rush? That's, I think, the way I would see it. Chipotle, I'm waiting. There's no entry yet. Qualcomm was a good entry point because it hit our target. So this was the target. It got to here. Now it's going into a problem area, but it could meander up to 114. So if I'm long, or if you're long, I get it. You have resistance, but you could head higher, especially if you hold 110 or 111. All right, so we hit a lot of tickers. We have, what, 7 minutes left, something like that? No, 13 minutes. Okay. What other tickers do you need? I'm running through mine because you're not giving me yours. SMCI. I think we traded SMCI. We did. I think this is the one where Mr. Semi shorted the earnings here and made money. Okay. Right here, it's in the base. I don't remember anything about this, so we will take it out. It's in a base right now that is higher lows, but look at that giant peak above you. So although I see solid support, I see a huge pile of resistance, and unfortunately it spreads $30. So anything above 270 is going to be difficult, 275. I would not want to hold calls. The fundamentals are good. So it's a rhetoric about semiconductors and growth and supply and chain disruptions and all of that. Good solid support spread across, a huge resistance spread above. So I don't think I would do anything. Probably selling a strangle out to the end of the year with plus or minus 30% would be the only way I would do it. Research what I just said, but don't pin it on me if you lose money on it. There's no easy entry with calls. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you. Naked calls are going to be difficult. I would do a tight calendar. That's what I would do with that. All right, so we have 13 minutes, 12 minutes. SMCI. What else? Shopify and NVIDIA. Thank you. I am long Shopify. Pretty sure through a credit put spread. Yes, I am boring with my trades. More like lazy. Shopify delivered an okay report, so I took advantage of the hate to go long, and it looks like we did right. I don't remember exactly where my risk is, but I sold a put or a put spread or a combination of both. If Shopify goes above 58, it goes to 62, 61. So if you go above 58, you go to 61. And that's a big if, but it's right there. Cup and handle-ish, whatever you want to call it. Something like that. You have higher lows. Okay? Higher lows, keep that. Strong support at 54. So if it dips back to 54, if I'm not long, I would engage long for that opportunity. All by itself, I don't think it ends up below that. It has a good business, so I don't know what people are shorting. NVIDIA. NVIDIA, what did they do again? So NVIDIA exuberance on earnings was, this box was my range and it's inside the box. So there's nothing to do here with NVIDIA. The company is leading the industry. It's breaking ground. It's setting pace. I just cannot go along a chart that looks like that. If you're an investor for a long term and you bought NVIDIA on the spike from the earnings or at the highs of the earnings, wow. Okay. If you went all in, you seriously need help investing, just because it's an easy mistake potentially to avoid. I don't care how well you like a company. This here, folks, this stock has never had a tick below 365 and above 347. Never. Not like a small gap here. It's never traded there. 0 ticks in between those. I have never seen a chart like this. You can troll thousands of charts, especially of mega caps. You will never see this as a good base. What am I saying? At some point, it's going to go back below 360. I've never seen this before. How will it do that? I have no idea. Market crash, some sort of a headline on itself, lawsuit, whatever. Somebody is going to bring it down to make a trade down here. There's too much money lost in it. They will want revenge. Just be careful going all in. All I'm saying, if you want to own 100 shares, just buy 50 if you cannot wait. Otherwise, just call it you missed it, and then catch it on a dip. Short-term comments. You have huge resistance above 480 and 490. You could get there, but don't start longs there. That's where you exit. You have a lot of support short-term into 430. So it looks like a huge sold strangle or an iron condor would work. Or hey, Jacob, or maybe an iron butterfly if you know what you're doing. If you don't do that. Lucid? What? Have they sold 30 cars yet? Today is what? 8/29? Okay. Yes, overwrite the old 8/29. Okay. Let's see here. Lucid. Are you investing or trading? If you're trading, I get it. You could get to 640 or 660. If you're investing, please do your homework. Please do your homework. And I think Lucid's problem is production. The car's nice. The reputation's nice. It's a niche market. Why only the 1% can afford it? I think the cheapest model is more expensive than the most expensive Tesla model, or most expensive normal Tesla model, not the Plaid. If that's the case, how many are we going to see on the street? So do the math. You can come up with how much sales it's going to have. It first needs to produce its car. So keep in touch with how many cars they can produce a year. I think that's what drives the stock price, because if they can sell every car they make. I'm fairly confident of that. How many can they make? That will determine their P&L, plain and simple. So find out what that number is. Technically, you have support at 580. You lose it, you're going to go to 540 or maybe even lower. Meanwhile, it could drift to 650, 640, 650. 640 is target 1 of this green M you see. 670 is target 2. How likely is it to get there? I don't know. It is a headline stock. Before you know it, somebody will say something and go, wee. All right, so we have 5 minutes left. Any more tickers? Or should I continue along mine? Meta. Somebody asked me before the day started. I already answered. I can probably answer blindfolded. No, I can't. I don't remember what it is. I thought I put lines. Yeah, I did. Okay, so I've had these lines there for a while. The first one came to fruition. So this one I can move like this, but I'm not going to. And I said it could repeat it and go lower. So this rally here, here, and here is this red hump right there. So it does have a lot of support around 280. But if you lose that zone 280 to 76, I think it drifts lower, probably towards 255, 260. Drifts, not crash, drift lower. Lower highs, and they're trying to find footing. And if they don't, some sort of a head neckline here that would bring you down, drift lower towards 260, 255. So how will I go long? As an investor, maybe selling a put thread. I wouldn't sell a put. I don't want to own these shares. When a company changes its name to say we're going to get into a business that is not up and running, not for me. Definitely not for me. So be careful. PayPal, we already did, Jacob. We already did. So I'm long PayPal, and it looks like it's working out. That's the short story. I'm long via sold put or put spread. SPY, I did that first, and we will end with it. So hang in there. We will do the SPY. And actually, let's just do it now since we have 4 minutes until the day starts. I started with the futures, and I will end with the futures and the SPY. So this is a 1 hour chart that I gave the members. We had a good day yesterday. The bulls defended some good selling jags in the intraday. You saw them happen. You might have a higher low trend. We did have a crossover in moving averages, but we had it here as well. So the key is to make higher lows and tackle failing points. So 4455 on the futures is important today. It's not going to be easy. That green line is months old, and it's a moving average. It's an anchored VWAP from mine. So if you want to see the SPY equivalent of that, let's go to 30 minutes so we can see fewer, or 15 minutes if you're actively trading. All these bluish lines and that yellow circle, these lines have been here for months, and they were above us at one point. We cleared them. They were support, and we lost them, and now we're trying to cut through them again. It's not going to be easy, but if we can clear them, then the bulls will be back in charge. This week, that's the battle. Take out these boxes. These are old boxes that I've dragged over to here. These are like scar tissue. It's not going to be easy to cut through. So look for 444 on the SPY. That is really good news, because if we pop above it, we probably get another $1.50 or $2 right away. Hi, Dave. Just in time to hit a like and then get out of here and go back to the live room. Higher lows, that's pretty good. Support below is somewhere around 441.5 and 440.8. And there's more support lower if we need it. I feel like we need a headline for the bears to take control of this week. We'll see. We did have one green week after 3 or 4 red ones for the SPY. So look for the IWM, because the IWM did not have a green week last week, and they may be basing first, the IWM. Progress, regress. You don't want to lose this. If we lose this one, I think we have another 3 to 5% drop in the IWM, which is probably 3% to 4% in the SPY. So this is an important week. We'll see. We have GDP coming out soon. It's bullshmuts number, but people like to look at it, and a couple of other things. I can't remember what it is. So avoid the earnings, ignore the headlines, unless they are like the Fed event, the real Fed event, where they tell us what they did with the rates. Otherwise, like this Jackson Hole thing, that was just noise. It was not a Fed event. It was just a speech. He's not going to make new policy during that. All right, folks, this is it. Thanks for coming here. We will build this community back up. We will do this again on Thursday. If you want to join us, put it in your calendar. I will schedule it the night before and send out a note the night before. Go to the website if you want to put yourself on a list. We have in-person events. We're having one in Florida. If you live in South Florida, go to the website and put your name in there or sign up. It's going to be 15 people to learn charts. It's going to be awesome. We've done one a month. We just finished one. We're going to do one in 3 weeks and another one in October, but the October is a trading event. You can't do that unless you know charts. So Florida charting event. Thanks for being here. Time to bolt, rudely cut out. Thank you.